Hello everyone, my name is Alex, and in this onboarding video I'm going to show you what the Integromat is and how basically you may apply Integromat to perform your business and your business process. Okay, so at the beginning we start with a main dashboard. So this is basically what you will see at once after the registration. So as you can see here, we have the subscription panel, option to upgrade. We have the operations dashboard. Here we see the operations you spent and current billing cycle and the data transferred. So these are basically your limits which you have per month. In my case, it's a developers or support account, so I have definitely bigger than most of you. After the registration on free plan, you will have 10,000 operations per month, and you basically may open the upgrade to see it. So here comes the basic plan with 10,000 operations per month, standard plan, business plan, platinum, and so on. Also on the pricing page of Integromat, you should be able to find additional detailed comparison for different plans and options we have. So for example, this plan has data transfer quota for 1 GB per month, then minimal intervals which you will allow me to set will be 5 minutes. On bigger plans it will be 1 minute, so it's a minimal interval between checks of your data, okay, for your scenarios. Then we have the scenario execution timeout. So this basically how long your scenario may be executed. So let's say if you will be on this plan and your scenario will run more than 10 minutes, it will be automatically disabled. Okay, so this you also need to keep in mind when you plan your scenario and when you are basically upgrading or selecting the plan. But I would say if you will perform the actions, you won't be able to perform much actions for 10 minutes, so you will definitely need to have more operations for it, right? Because each operation usually takes less than a second or so, so you may calculate how many operations you will spend per 10 minutes. Okay, then we go to internal storage. This internal database where you may store your data using different structures. So this basically total size of this storage for your data. Then we have max number of different data stores which you may set up. And then here we have the max file size which you may transfer through your scenario. So as you see, it's also different for different plans. And here we have the queue for the webhooks, which I will explain later. At this moment, you should understand that all not processed at once webhooks will go to queue, and this max basically amount of webhooks in this queue you will be able to store. Okay, so we have this another incomplete execution store, this for troubleshooting and error handlers, where you will be able to store not fully executed scenarios. So this kind of temporary memory. Okay. Then we have price for extra operations if you will decide to not upgrade, but you will need to buy some operations. You can always do it, and this basically price for additional 10,000 ops, and it depends on your plan. Then we have unlimited number of scenarios. So basically we not limit you with any like premium modules or number of scenarios. number of modules, and so on and so forth. And this basically set here, so you have access to all modules. You may use unlimited number of modules in your scenario. We definitely have some limitations for it, but it's mostly about the data inside the scenario itself. So all the text parameters inside the scenario should be less than 5 megabytes. But it's super hard to reach this amount. But you should be aware about it. Basically, the support priority. So you should understand that bigger plan you have, more priority your support ticket will get. So we will firstly provide support for bigger plan customers on a business and a platinum, then for the standard, and then for basic, and then for free. So if you want to get better support, just consider upgrade on bigger plan. That's what I may say. Or I would say, yeah, so if you want to get support, better support, more detailed support, and which is most important, faster response or priority for your support questions, I would consider to upgrade to bigger plan. Okay, so then we have the cooperation for multi-users, where you can have organizations for your scenario and team members. They come from basically paid plans, so we don't have it on a free plan. And this advanced scheduling, which we will check later, also available on a paid plans. Okay, so let's go ahead and check the interface further. So we have here the list of our active scenarios. We have our users, subscriptions, payments, as we already spoken. So here we have additional tab for your scenarios. So here the list of all of your scenarios in your account. You can choose active, concepts, inactive, and so on. We also have the templates. This already pre-built scenario, so you just need to map the modules with your particular data. And this filter basically will allow you to select the app you want. Let's say I want to connect Google Sheets, for example, so I just need to check for it, and you will see all templates for Google Sheets. And you also may add some particular additional filter, let's say Google Drive, for example. So with this, we have two filters set, and only Google Drive and Google Sheets will be here. Okay, so connections. This is the list of your connections to any services you have connected to Integromat account. Webhooks, it's a list of your webhooks connected to your account. Keys, these are basically connections for your HTTP modules. With the Integromat HTTP module, you may create either out regular or out basic out connection with a login and a password to API, or out to connection, where you basically usually take into consent screen, have to confirm login through your application interface. Means, let's say, you always see this like login with your Facebook, login with your Google, so this out too, and you will be able to save this particular connection for your HTTP modules, but this, I would say, like a little bit more advanced level, but you definitely will use it at least in the future. Then devices, there's basically devices you will connect using mobile apps for notifications and stat purposes. Here, data stores, which we spoke before. So basically, we will cover this a little bit later. So at this moment, you need to know that here we have data stores and options to show them, basically explore them, edit, or delete. So here you may set the capacity for each of your data store, and this one of, I would say, common question which initially may you face this when you create one data store, and when you're starting to build another one, you may see that you have not enough space storage for it. So by default, system will automatically set capacity for your data store, and if you don't have enough, you just need to open existing one and change this capacity to balance it. So basically, by default, let me try to add a new one. So as you see, all available space, 412 megabytes, will be allocated to this particular new data store. So if I will create this one, I won't be able to add any more. So I will just need, to consider the space I want to allocate to this one. Let's say 10 megabytes and so on and so forth. But if you did this and allocate all the space, you always can open it and simply decrease the space for a particular data store. So basically here you see the allocated space, and you always should be able to find it and change. Let's say 5 megabytes here, I can change it to 1 megabyte and save it. Or let's say assign it to 4. That's it. So now I will have 1 more megabyte for my new data stores. Then data structures. If you're familiar with the data, you know what the structures means. So we're talking about array, collections, and so on and so forth. This I will cover a little bit later. And here again, you just need to understand that you can clone it or edit. Here we go with the apps. This basically a place where you can build your own app. With own app, we mean modules for some API. In this case, it's let's say MailerLite, or we can select Tumblr, whatever you want. With this, let's say MailerLite, you will see how we build these apps to connect different APIs, different services. So we have the connection, we have the base, we have modules, different modules, remote procedure, IML functions, so on and so forth. If you're a programmer, so you will always be able to check all documentation here. We have the SDK for Visual Studio, and you basically can use IML functions, which is pure JavaScript. Here, and what else we have here? The organizations. This is the place where you can manage your organizations and basically switch between them, and you will be always able to select the different organizations and see different scenarios there. Okay. Here we have also notifications, feature requests. This might be helpful for you, so you will always see what happened with the platform and what basically added. So here you see the timeline with the new added or updated modules, so on and so forth. So here we have help, and basically that's it. So here in the bottom, this main settings with your profile, and let's say affiliate program. Your profile, where you can set the time zone, email notifications. So time zone, you're setting here for your scenario. So basically, if you're working with, let's say, some third-party service, let's say Google Drive or whatever service it will be, you have the time there. Usually systems use UTC time zone, and then any service which work with this data will convert it to the particular time zone you set in the customer's profile, including Google itself, right? So the file itself stored with a timestamp with a UTC zone. But depending on settings in your interface, you will have this time zone converted to this time converted to your time zone. So this basically thing which I just showed you. Okay, so let's move further and let's go to our scenarios. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new scenario. Here you can either select the module, which will be then shown in the beginning, or you can skip it. So let's say I want to use email. We have actually two modules for it, just the Gmail and email, which is newer and more, I would say, universal. So if I select this module and press on continue, you will see the empty box, but our email already selected here as our panel for quick access, and here if you click on the module you will be able to see the email at once. For the rest you need to perform a source, let's say for Google something, so on and so forth. So let's start with the email module. Let's select some email account. Okay, so here are my test Gmail, for example, and we will be able to select the folder, for example. It will be inbox, all emails, and as you understand, like all the every module has own settings, right? So, but there are some common things which almost any module have. So these things are connections. So basically this is connection where you select your account to which you connected, right? Then we have some of modules which have watch type, and some least probably modules have max number of results. This means if you have, let's say, in my case I have inbox, right, and I have, let's say, 100 emails there, so only 2 emails will be shown in my result because I've limited search by this number. Okay, so let's do it to 10 and let's apply the settings. So here comes this option. Let me quickly explain about type of the modules in Integromat. So one of the type, it's a watch modules, and these are triggers. Okay, so if you open the modules, basically you see it says that it's triggers. It might be different, I mean the name of this group, but you need to understand that some of modules can be connected after something, right? But triggers never will be connected after something. They can be only initial modules in a scenario. So you can't, let's say, connect after. You see these circles on the module side. So these circles basically give us understanding what you may do with this module. This module can be connected after something in our scenario, but this module can be only initial module. Okay, regarding the watch modules, these modules intended to bring us the either updated entities or new entities after last check. It means if you run your scenario manually with a run once, or without any additional settings, or if you will activate your scenario and it will work in automatic mode, it will always bring you the results after last run, after last check. So let's say if I will run my module now, it will bring me some emails. Okay, and depending on the number of limit we set here. So I basically have this account with this particular modules. Never, right? So by default, it will process my emails starting, as you see, from February. This is the date of the account creation, and will process them one by one with the 10 email limit I see here. But if I will process all emails, okay, so it may take some time. So after I will emails, the next run, the automatic run, will bring me new entities. And if I won't have these entities, I won't see in a result. So you should understand this one, because this not most, but one of the most common questions our customers ask in support request initially. Module does not bring me anything, right? I'm running the scenario, no results. It's only mean that your module has not seen any your account. Okay, so my module finished the execution, and now I should be able to see the list of my emails. So if I basically scroll down, the system show me first 100 with the details, and rest, as you can see here, 2,761 email was processed, but I will see just first 100 with the details in here, right? So the thing is, if I will run my module now again, this what will happen, and this most common question. So was returned because I already performed the check, and whatever I will get a new email or change the entity in my service means it might be different module, right? It might be watch for contacts in some CRM, so on and so forth. But whatever I'll do until I will get updated or created entity, I won't have there any result in my search. So then when you set your scenario, run, let's say, every 15 minutes, you will see the results. If you have updated entities or new entities, you will get the result. If you won't have them after this particular interval of the time, right, you won't have the result. So it's a simple, and it should be understandable. And here we go with operations. So you need to know that each operation, each run of each module, we count as an operation. You see this circle here with a number of operations spent for run of particular module. If we have several modules in the area, I will set just a variable here for test purposes without any values. And if I will run my this module won't be triggered because my initial module haven't returned any result at this particular run. Okay, and as you see, I spent one operation for this scenario run. So this operation will this run of this scenario will cost me one operation. Okay, as I said before, watch modules, it's not regular type of the modules, and here for test purposes only in watch modules and only in manual mode here, you have this option to choose where to start from. So I should be able to see my emails and select several last emails for test purposes. So here, I just selected last 2 emails, and if I were on my scenario, you should be able to see that my first module was triggered once, and basically I spent 1 operation here. But my second module was triggered 2 times, and I spent 2 operations on this module. Okay, so the reason for it, these 2 emails. So we have inputs and outputs, right? So in our case, we won't provide any details for our modules, so we have no any input. But we got 2 outputs. So if I would say select some subject, and I select, let's say, all emails, with this manual settings it will check my all of my emails in a Gmail, and run this one. It should filter and read only emails which have a test. Okay, so as you see, I should have the input here with my test, and I have 42 in my case outputs, right? So the input here, it doesn't show in this particular case for this particular module, but it always basically exists because we perform the request. Okay, so here we see the operation. So 1 operation we executed. So this module was basically ran 1 time, and it returned us 42 bundles of a data, 42 emails in this case. So my next module triggered 42 times. So if we open the operation 1, we will see the input. It's empty here. We may set it to, let's say, something, and here basically comes our tree of variables. If I will have several modules, I should be able to scroll and see different modules in here, but since we have only one, I should be able to select variables only from here. Okay, so I will select the date, for example, or let's use the subject, and let's run our scenario one more time. I haven't, so I should get nothing, right? So I choose where to start. Again, this is only because I work with the watch email modules. Okay, so if I will run it now, this should bring me the, again, 42 emails. This is what I have. And here in the result, in any operation, in for the output, you will see the name, basically, of the value for a particular module will be the subject of my email. Most of the time it's test, but here we see test reply, here some notification. So what I'm trying to explain here, that you always have the input and you have output. These outputs and inputs can be empty, but you basically always have them for your modules.